What is going on YouTube? It is your boy MrBaboon back with a reaction video. This time we are reacting to Timeline 1980. So we're going to take a look in the 80s all the way to 1980 to 1989. We're going well, not today, but in this video it's just the 1980s. And then the next video will probably be 1981. So if you guys want to watch the video for yourself or all that good stuff, or you guys want to check out the channel for yourself, I will have the video link and the channel link down below in the description. If you guys want to check it out for yourselves, you guys can. With that being said, I think we're going to jump right into this. So,
the 1980s. It was a totally rad decade that was filled with neon, yuppies, and a whole lot of Aquanet.
Welcome to Fantasy Island.
We're going to talk about the news, culture, sports, and entertainment, and all that was weird in the 80s. This is Timeline. We're starting at the beginning with the year 1980. But before we get moving, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know in the comments below your favorite 80s memory. Okay then, are you ready to relive 1980? 5, 6, 7, 8 Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hass & Pfeffer Incorporated. We're gonna do it now. Coming out of the disco-filled 70s, the U.S. economy was sagging. Americans were being held hostage in Iran, and the minimum wage was $3.10. But this new decade started off with some promise. Gary Larson's The Far Side made its debut the day before, on New Year's Eve. The year ahead for 1980 would feature many new additions and changes to the culture. The world was about to see its first hot pocket, the rise of the Rubik's Cube, and the dawn of a new political era.
We shall seek new friendships, but we shall not do so by breaking our word or casting aside old friends and allies.
This is 1980. The decade wouldn't start off so great for Beatle Paul McCartney when he was arrested January 16th in Japan for marijuana possession.
What do you think about marijuana?
It was a big mistake.
McCartney would stay in a Tokyo jail for 9 whole days, and it was January 25th when Paul was finally released, and then quickly deported.
I'd like to say sorry about the mistake there, and hope we can come back sometime and not disappoint you next time, and have a good time.
Staying with the music theme, Pink Floyd's 11th album, The Wall, hit #1 on the Billboard charts and would go on to sell over 1.2 million copies in the first 2 months. The album would eventually sell over 30 million copies, which made it the best-selling double album ever. The movie for The Wall wouldn't be released for another 2.5 years, until August 13th, 1982, where at the movies, critics Siskel and Ebert gave the film 2 thumbs up.
The Rams had 2 defensive backs covering Swan and a linebacker blitzing Bradshaw, and still they could not damage the throw or prevent the catch.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are the champions of the National Football League.
1980 did ignite what would eventually become a decade-long rivalry of wanting to beat the Soviets at anything. America rose to the challenge at the Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, New York in late February, when the underdog U.S. men's hockey team took out our Cold War foe, the not quite evil empire USSR, beating them 4-3.
You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable!
That term evil empire wouldn't be coined until 1983 by Ronald Reagan. That's an extra bonus fun fact for you Rage Against the Machine fans and or New York Yankee haters out there. But no matter what we're calling the Soviets, the budding U.S.-USSR sports rivalry would have to wait.
What you talking about, mister?
Well, Arnold, that's because the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, and President Jimmy Carter declared the USA would not participate in the Summer Olympics, which were being held conveniently in Moscow on July 19th, 1980. Da, comrade, da. In between all this Cold War tit-for-tat, some more chilly news as snow fell in Florida in March. This is also notable because this is probably the least weirdest thing ever to happen in the state of Florida. Now for some weird true crime. In mid-March, Jon Favreau's life took a sad turn when he accidentally struck and killed a boy on a mini-bike. This is significant because that boy happened to be Frank Gotti, son of reputed mobster boss John Gotti. Flash forward to later on in the year, on July 28th, when Favreau disappeared, never to be seen again. It would be reported later that one of Gotti's henchmen took Favreau out. Not only did they whack the poor guy, but also pulled a Walter White on him, allegedly dissolving Favre in a vat of acid. Yikes.
What'd you get me a guitar for?
Because I like the way you sing.
He dragged her from radio station to record shop,
Don't even know where I am half the time.
from honky-tonk bars to the Grand Ole Opry. Sissy Spacek, Tommy Lee Jones,
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
coal miner's daughter.
Now playing at a theater near you.
80s TV loved their season-ending cliffhangers, and none were as big as the episode of Dallas entitled A House Divided, where America's favorite jerk, J.R. Ewing, was shot by a mysterious assailant. The country would have to wait to find out who shot J.R. until 8 months later, on November 21st, 83 million people watched the episode Whodunit.
JR had a lot of enemies.
We found out it was, spoiler alert, dastardly Kristen who had done it.
Get me the police.
I knew it. This episode of Dallas was the most watched regular season TV
never seen
episode
that show.
ever. Switching to the radio dial,
someone tell me
April
about that
21st,
show?
Howard
What's-
Stern's
what's it
voice
about
first
and
makes
stuff
itself
like that?
heard, hitting the airwaves on station WWWW in Detroit, Michigan.
Give me a break. My wife, we want to have a baby. All I'm asking for is a gig. If you stop listening, I'm in big trouble. Big trouble.
We go on the same day to Boston. And hey, congratulations, and cool that Rosie Ruiz won the 83rd running of the Boston Marathon. All is fine and dandy until Rosie is later disqualified when it's discovered that she only ran the very last mile out of the 26-mile race.
It's not fair.
Not cool, Rosie. Not cool.
I did not
3
know
days
that.
later, on April 24th, we
Shit.
go to the Middle East. During military Operation Eagle Claw, a rescue mission intended on freeing American hostages held in Iran, 3 of the 8 rescue helicopters had mechanical problems, and the mission was aborted. During the withdrawal, 1 helicopter collided with a plane, killing 8 American soldiers.
Damn.
With the help of Dr. Lottery Balls, Nick Perry, the host of the Pennsylvania lottery scandal, helped rig the TV drawing. The numbers 666 were picked, giving a record payout of $3.5 million, of which $1.2 million went to those in on the scam. April showers not only bring May flowers,
Shit.
but also some
I
new
did not
weird
know.
historic
What
slang.
the- what the
Chicago
hell?
Magazine would be the
Oh wait, so that was a whole fucking scam with that in like back in the fucking 80s? In 1980, bro? What? Bro, I had no idea about that. What? Like, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about this. Damn. There's a lot of stuff you knew I didn't know. Like, that one, what was, John Gotti's son, right? I think I read about that a couple years back. Yeah. I think I read about that a couple years back. Ooh.
the first to introduce the word yuppie into our culture, which appeared in print in their May publication.
Friday the 13th.
Friday.
Released.
The 13th. You may only see it once.
We all remember this part in Goodfellas.
Please, don't you move, you motherfucker! I'll blow your brains out.
That's because on May 11th, the real Henry Hill was arrested for trafficking narcotics. This arrest would prove to be pivotal because Hill would turn rat, becoming an FBI informant and narking out his mob buddies and, well, eventually end up with a movie about it. Thank God, too, because Goodfellas is a really good movie.
It's been a learning experience, but I enjoy challenges, and it's a challenge tonight to see what I can do.
It's mid-May. Los Angeles Laker rookie point guard Irvin Magic Johnson stepped in to play center when starting center Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was too banged up to play in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. The 6'9" Magic would eventually play every position in that game, all while scoring 42 points, grabbing 15 boards, and dishing out 7 assists, helping the Lakers win the NBA championship 4-2 over the Philadelphia 76ers.
What do you have that makes you perform like this in these championship games?
Well, I don't know. Just I love to win.
The city of Philadelphia would get some redemption later in the year. As far as Kareem goes, we'll see him in a minute. Them Duke boys were about as popular as a cat's tail in a room full of rocking chairs. Their show was the second highest rated show on television in 1980. Yep. Ah. We next land in the Northwest, in Skamania County, Washington, some 70 miles north of Portland, where on May 18th, Mount St. Helens erupted, making it the most disastrous volcanic eruption in U.S. history. Ash was blown as far as 10 miles up into the sky, which then fell back down and blanketed 11 U.S. states, killing crops, creating road closures, as well as blackouts. Video games and pop culture can mark this point when Pac-Man was first released in Japan on May 22nd. Our little yellow buddy would go on to inspire merchandise, sequels, a Saturday morning cartoon, an NFL nickname, and of course, since it is the 80s, a delicious and sugary Pac-Man breakfast cereal, which was basically Kix but with marshmallows. Very clever. Flash forward 2 years to March 1982. We are Fever Pitch Pac-Man. The game is so popular, the song Pac-Man Fever made it all the way up to number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 in March of 1982. The single sold over 1 million copies in '82 alone for a song about Pac-Man. The 80s. Weird times indeed. Late May of 1980 would feature some now iconic movies.
I am your father. Here's Johnny!
June would be the birth of the 24/7 news cycle as CNN hit the airwaves for the first time.
Good evening, I'm David Walker.
And I'm Lois Hart. Now here's the news.
CNN's dominance of cable would spawn an array of sibling news channels, as well as competitors, and change our media landscape and the way we would consume news forever.
I have no intention of running for president.
Oh, such innocent times. CNN would have covered this. Legendary comic Richard Pryor, while freebasing drugs and drinking 151 proof rum, maybe accidentally set himself on fire. After running around the streets, literally in fuego, Pryor was subdued by police and rushed to the hospital. Flash forward 2 years on March 24th. Pryor would use this as material for his comedy concert film Live on the Sunset Strip.
I remember this one. It striped the match like this. What's that? Richard Pryor running down the street.
It would be the highest-grossing concert film for almost the entire decade. Almost. We'll see in a minute who upset JoJo Dancer.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
We would think this would have happened decades, if not a century earlier, but the national anthem of Canada officially became O Canada. We stand on guard for thee.
LA departure frequency 123.9er.
Ah, there's Kareem again.
Roger.
Hi. Clear for Vector 324.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Tower radio clearance, over.
To San Diego on July 2nd, when jam band Grateful Dead members Bob Weir and Mickey Hart witnessed police arresting a fan for possession of marijuana. The two were not so dead chill seeing this and caused such a ruckus that they, along with their manager Danny Rifkin, were arrested and booked for suspicion of inciting a riot. Pauly D of Jersey Shore was born on this date, July 5th, 1980. No reason, we just really wanted to let you know. Your folks were always saying how much harder things used to be. That might be true for thunderstorms, because on July 15th, one massive storm crushed western Wisconsin.
Emergency government officials have now finalized property damage estimates from the storm, and the figures are overwhelming.
Racking up for $250 million in damage. We go to Australia. It's August when...
What? Bro, that's a lot. That's a lot in damages. Oof. Ooh. Wait, what?
Lindy Chamberlain's 9-week-old baby, Azaria, was allegedly dragged away from a family campsite by a dingo. However, Lindy and her husband, Michael Chamberlain, were both initially convicted for their child's death. The case made global headlines and was an unintentional creation of 90s humor when we flash forward to November 27th, 1991, and the Dingo Ate Your Baby episode of Seinfeld titled The Stranded and becoming part of the pop culture lexicon.
Tell my fiancé I'm looking for him. I have lost my fiancé, the poor baby.
Maybe the dingo ate your baby.
The former Rockets center was born on this day. Good news for his mother, he wasn't born 7'6". In late September, it was a sad day. Good news for his mother, he wasn't born. The former Rockets center was born on this day. Good news for his mother, he wasn't born 7'6".
Shit, he was born
In
on
late
this
September,
day.
it was
I
a
did not
sad
know
day
that
for
either.
rock.
Shit.
Following a day where John Bonham, Led Zeppelin's Wonder drummer and notorious party animal, downed a reported 40 measures of vodka in 12 hours, the famed percussionist went and passed out, only to never wake up again. Bonham went on to play that great drum solo in the Cosmos, perishing from asphyxiation, from choking on his own vomit. Flash forward to 2 months later on December 4th, when surviving band members Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, and John Paul Jones decided Zeppelin without Bonham just wouldn't be Zeppelin.
The Cosmos is all that is, or ever was, or ever will be. And it's a story about us. How we achieved our present understanding of the cosmos, how the cosmos has shaped our evolution and our culture, and what our fate may be.
It's September 28th, and sex therapist Dr. Ruth Westheimer's radio show, Sexually Speaking, hit airwaves in New York City.
Question.
Yeah.
I'm having a relationship with a cousin of mine.
Do you use contraceptives?
By 1983, Dr. Ruth's show was the top-rated radio show in the Big Apple. And by 1984, the Dr. Ruth show would mark its syndication starting point.
My show, the only one that touches him is me.
Way to rebound and win, Philly.
This team is just an unbelievable baseball team right now. We could beat anybody in the world.
It's hard to mention the 80s and not talk about the Gipper. Former Western actor and star of Bedtime for Bonzo, Ronald Reagan became President-elect Reagan after defeating incumbent President Jimmy Carter. As you'll see in some coming videos, Reagan's jelly bean-stained fingerprints will be all over the decade to come.
Mexico is showing the world this new way of fighting cancer through non-specific metabolic therapies. God bless you all. Steve McQueen.
He died this morning in another Mexican clinic. His heart stopped beating after doctors removed one of the tumors. McQueen was just 50.
For all the extreme sports fans, we go to West Virginia at the New River Gorge Bridge, which was the starting point of base jumping. Parachutists first jumped off the 876-foot bridge, then presumably landed gently in the New River. We go now to the Superdome in New Orleans. It's round 7 of their second bout between Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard. A frustrated Duran, unable to keep up with the faster and craftier Sugar Ray, simply turned around and threw in his own towel, saying the now iconic "No mas," stunning the boxing world.
Duran has quit! Roberto Duran has quit! There can be no other explanation!
Leonard was a winner by TKO. America's dad Tom Hanks got his big chance on the sitcom Bosom Buddies, a show about two men dressing up like women in order to save money on rent. The biggest movie star and comedian of the 80s, a then 19-year-old Eddie Murphy, was featured on Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update for the first time. Eddie would quickly become a regular cast member the following year in 1981.
This turkey has the same amount of nutrition as a T-bone steak. But if you compare the two packages like I did, you'll see the steak fits under your clothes a whole lot easier.
In 1988, Eddie Murphy's Raw would go on to top Richard Pryor's Live on the Sunset Strip for highest-grossing concert film.
Lennon was shot and killed at about 11 o'clock last night outside his apartment building.
December would be a punch in the gut to the world's soul when Beatle John Lennon was gunned down outside the Dakota Hotel in New York City. Lennon's album, Double Fantasy, came out 2 weeks prior. Lennon had actually signed a copy of that album to his assailant, Mark David Chapman, just hours earlier. The world mourned. Flash forward to 1985, when a memorial for Lennon called Strawberry Fields made its debut on October 9th. That date would have also celebrated Lennon's 45th birthday.
Like, bro, I mean, it's fucked. Like, I mean, that whole situation is fucked. Like, the one dude fucking got him to sign that, like, hours later, and then not long after, like, coupled, like, what, like, 3-4 hours, 2 hours later, something like that, he, like, ended up doing that, and it's just like, bruh, that is fucked. That is fucked.
I'm sorry, these aren't my working clothes.
No, it's not that. It's just that I was expecting someone a little different.
It's December 12th, and California-based company Apple made its initial public offering on the U.S. stock market, which started trading at $22 a share.
You're dead, you're married. Think the young girl's for me.
There's no way I'm going down. I don't go down for nobody.
Listen with him. Why does he have to make it so hard on himself?
And that's how 1980 ended. In with a smoking Beatle, out with a raging bull. 1981 was just around the corner, and it would be a year filled with deadly events, high-profile marriages, and the emergence of the video game. But that's for next time. Good night, John Boy.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
So what do you think? What was your fondest memory of 1980? Let us know in the comments.
Well, I mean, I would say good video and everything, right? Really good video and everything. I mean, honestly, not everything, because not everything can make the video. But, I mean, there was definitely some stuff that happened. But, I mean, those were just, like, some of the highlights of that year, I think, right? Yeah. The weird history. Bro, I will say, I love reacting to these timeline videos, learning about what happened in that year, and, like, it's just so cool. Absolutely so cool. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to watch that video, or like, check out the channel for yourself, I will have the link for that, for the video, and the channel link down below in the description. If you guys want to check it out, you guys can. That is going to do it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Positivity is key, motivation is key, happiness is key. I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys stay safe, watch out for each other. I'll see you guys in the next one.